Superman vs. Flash, a history of their races. Let's dive into the epic races between Superman and Flash. We'll analyze the battles between these two iconic characters. Anyone who thinks Superman can easily fly away from Flash is gravely mistaken. If Flash had the strength to take down Superman, he would do so faster than Superman could realize. Flash possesses a special attack technique called the Imp Infinite Mass Punch, where he harnesses the power equivalent to a white dwarf star to strike down enemies. This attack once felled a White Martian, who was nearly as powerful as the Green Martian or Martian Manhunter, someone considered to be on par with Superman. Flash can unleash 500 punches, each as powerful as the Imp, on Superman before Superman can even think about countering. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and click the bell icon. Thanks everyone! Flash can incapacitate Superman in a mere fraction of a thought. Remember, Flash can think in less than an attosecond, a unit of time so small that Superman wouldn't even have time to react. A punch from Flash at such a speed would leave his opponent completely helpless and immobilized, unable to fight back. For Bart Allen, inertia is his archenemy, much like Zoom is for Wally West or Professor Zoom for Barry Allen. In the comic Flash, the Fastest Man Alive, where Bart Allen takes up the mantle of the Flash, inertia killed him. To avenge Bart, Wally West stole inertia's speed, leaving him forever frozen, unless Zoom freed him. Imagine Wally doing something similar to Superman. In a battle faster than a blink of an eye, Wally West completely overwhelmed Superman, and in a split second, he took down Superman with a series of lethal imp punches. All Wally's speed and destructive power combined made the fight one, where Superman had no chance to retaliate. In races, DC may insist that Flash is the fastest, but in head-to-head combat, Superman always considers Flash a serious rival. How did Flash fare in these races? It's clear that DC doesn't want to tarnish the shine of their golden boy, Superman. So many races end in a tie, creating a sense of balance. But if we're being honest, there is an undeniable winner. Here I'll focus on Barry Allen, the Silver Age Flash, who sacrificed himself in 1985 in the classic Crisis on Infinite Earths. Barry's life and career were the epitome of superhuman speed, and though he was often compared to Superman, the truth is that Barry always had something special, no matter who he faced. Superman 199 1967, this was the beginning of the legendary race between Silver Age Superman and the Flash. The two heroes agreed to participate in a charity race without hesitation, but as usual, criminal organizations got involved, placing massive bets on the outcome and attempting to sabotage everything for their own gain. After multiple dark schemes backfired, Superman and Flash finished with a clear tie, preventing the gangs from earning a penny. Frustrated, the villains shook their fists at the sky, shouting, "Damn you, DC." The unsatisfying tie left the story without a definitive closure, and from there, the Flash stood at 0-1, a start with no clear winner, but full of drama, which heightened the tension in the rivalry between the two legends. Flash 175 1967, the second race between Superman and Flash, took place just a few months after the first. This time, both heroes were at the JLA headquarters seeking to rescue other members of the team who had been captured by two mysterious alien beings. These two alien gamblers, frustrated by the tie from the first race, decided to organize a rematch, and this time, not only were they, but also the readers, eager for a definitive outcome. The challenge was for Superman and Flash to run to the edge of the Milky Way and back. If Superman lost, Metropolis would be destroyed. If Flash lost, Central City would meet the same fate. The lingering question remained, why didn't Superman and Flash use their speed to attack and take down the villains immediately? But both agreed to race. While running, they realized the whole ordeal was a trap set to kill Flash. The result? Another disappointing tie. And once again, the audience cried out, "DC, are you serious?" Flash still held a record of 0-2, without a win or a loss. Yet the tension, expectations, and dissatisfaction only grew, making this showdown one of the most thrilling battles between two superheroes. World's Finest 198 199 1970. It took 3 years for another race, and this time things got weird. The opponents weren't humans or regular beings, but a race of robots known as the anacronids, who existed at near light speeds. They were causing chaos in the timeline, making humans randomly shift between different periods. Meanwhile, we had a bizarre subplot with Jimmy Olsen leaping through time and constantly having his life threatened in each era. The Guardians of the Galaxy revealed that only 2 individuals could run alongside the anacronids at light speed to neutralize the chaos. And of course, Flash asked Superman if he wanted to turn this into a race. Superman immediately agreed, but things weren't that simple. Flash and Superman were transported to an alternate dimension where the sunlight constantly shifted between red and yellow, causing Superman's powers to fluctuate. The moments when Superman lost his powers brought extreme tension, as Flash had to take on the responsibility of maintaining the race, while both heroes battled the chaos caused by the anacronids. They had to deal with unexpected challenges from this strange dimension, creating a highly dramatic atmosphere. We even saw General Zod and several other Kryptonian criminals escape from the Phantom Zone. At one point, Superman found himself in a strange predicament during a loss of his powers. He twisted his ankle, and Flash, well, he got paralyzed from the waist down. This situation was absolutely wild beyond imagination. In the end, both Superman and Flash had to crawl through the desert using only their arms, desperately searching for the off switch for the entire anacronid race. Eventually, Flash reached the switch first, thanks to his speed, and turned it off, rendering the robots completely useless, although not as useless as an entire robot race having a single switch to turn them off, right? In that moment, Superman was forced to begrudgingly admit that Flash was indeed the fastest man alive. Whatever that meant, you could still sense the reluctance in his voice. What a jerk. So, with Superman's reluctant acknowledgement, Flash finally had a score of 102. However, it's worth noting that this race wasn't really decided by sheer running speed, so I'm not sure if this victory truly counts. Still, Flash's surprising win was enough to excite readers, though with a hint of skepticism. DC Comics presents 1/2/1978. This storyline was somewhat strange, much like World's Finest before it. Two alien races were locked in an endless war, which had gone on for so long that no one could remember why it started. Superman and Flash were dragged into a strange time travel mission to end the conflict. But during the journey, they discovered a horrifying truth: if they succeeded, both Earth and Krypton before Superman's race could develop would be completely destroyed. Faced with this danger, they decided to cooperate, and rather than stop the war, they let the alien races continue fighting until time itself resolved everything. Although the story had little to do with the origins of the races, Flash still emerged victorious through a series of complex and dramatic events, though the meaning behind his win was unclear. At this point, Flash's record stood at 202. However, the last two races that Flash won were almost not true, fair competitions. Thus, by this point, the race between Superman and Flash during the Silver Age had reached its conclusion. As I mentioned before, Barry Allen, the Silver Age, Flash sacrificed his life to save the multiverse during the Crisis on Infinite Earths event in 1985. Yet, after many quiet years, he returned in 2009 through the comic The Flash Rebirth. And after 20 years back from the dead, Flash once again entered a fateful race with Superman in issue 3. New challenges arose, and this race brought a sense of thrill and suspense. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. It helps us a lot. You're amazing. Thank you so much. The Flash Rebirth 3 2009. Barry Allen returned from the dead, but his resurrection caused chaos within the Speed Force, so much so that it could lead to the death of other speedsters. Believing that he was responsible for killing the speedsters, Barry decided to sacrifice himself to the Speed Force. At that moment, Superman tried to stop him, urging Barry to reconsider his decision. As the two raced at breakneck speed, Clark's Superman told Barry that he couldn't outrun him, as in previous races, they had always proven to be equally matched. But with a determined look, Barry turned to him and said that those races were just for charity. And then in a dramatic twist, he suddenly sped up, leaving Superman far behind. Amazing. In the end, Barry won a true, all-out race, raising the score to 302. Flash maintained his undefeated streak against Superman with 3 wins, no losses, and 2 ties. The question of who was faster between Flash and Superman during the Silver Age had been answered. Flash surpassed Superman in terms of speed. However, Superman had raced other Flashes in recent years, bringing new challenges. In Adventures of Superman 463 1990, we witnessed a race that was no less exciting than the first race seen in Superman 199. Instead of a usual strength contest, this time Mr. MX's Beetle played tricks, controlling the entire race between Superman, who had lost much of his strength post-Crisis, and Wally West Flash, who at that time also didn't retain his superhuman speed. The climax came when Wally West unexpectedly overtook Superman at the finish line, creating a thrilling, suspenseful moment. The mischievous schemes of MX's Beetle make everything more intense. In Action Comics 314 1964, instead of a race, we witness an interesting alternate reality story where Superman becomes the Flash. The story reveals that Jor-El considered 6 different worlds to send baby Kal-El to, and each world had different effects on Superman's powers. In each world, he becomes a different superhero, resembling the members of the Justice League. In one world, he takes on a Batman-like persona. In another, he becomes Aquaman. In yet another reality, he becomes the Flash. Although there's a bit of disappointment that we don't get to see a world where Superman becomes Wonder Woman, the mystery and parallel worlds make the story compelling. In Superman 221 2005, we see a bizarre version of the race between Superman and Flash. This time it's opposite day as Bizarro takes on Zoom. For some reason, Bizarro decides to accept Zoom's challenge in order to join the Legion of Doom. This exciting race continues in Action Comics 831, where Bizarro unexpectedly wins and is accepted into the Legion. Although this idea is intriguing, the true purpose of the race between Bizarro and Zoom remains a mystery to readers. Unfortunately, instead of honoring the iconic races of the past, the story showcases 2 characters moving in different, confusing directions, diminishing the excitement of the race and leaving many unanswered questions. Batman the Brave and the Bold 15/2010. This issue just came out, and it's a clear but clever homage to the Superman-Flash races of the past. It's done very well, and the storyline is actually quite good. Quicksilver vs. Flash. Before diving into that, let's talk about the origins of Flash's powers and those of other superheroes in the DC universe, particularly regarding speed abilities. The Speed Force is an extra-dimensional energy source that powers all of Flash's super speed. However, accessing the Speed Force is only available to a select few individuals in the DC universe. When DC characters cross over to the Marvel universe, particularly in interdimensional crossovers, the differences become stark. Quicksilver, with his mutant origins, retains his speed powers as his body is naturally adapted to use super speed. In contrast, Flash struggles to maintain his powers since his speed depends on an external energy source, and in the Marvel universe, he may not have access to the Speed Force. This contrast makes the speed storylines more dramatic and engaging. With extraordinary effort, Flash can reach the speed of light within the atmosphere without causing any negative effects on the environment. Meanwhile, Quicksilver can only reach a maximum speed of around 4 to 5 times the speed of sound, Mach 4.5, a new limit for him. Although encounters between these two speedsters are incredibly rare, if we compare their speeds, it's clear that Flash is far superior to Quicksilver. However, when it comes to specific tasks, both often finish with similar speeds, making them seem evenly matched. In the DC universe, Flash has always outclassed most other speedsters with a unique phenomenon called the Speed Force. Other speedsters don't have this pure connection, and therefore can only achieve a fraction of the speed Flash can, creating a significant gap in their abilities. The power of the Speed Force is a distinct defining factor. In the New 52 universe, Barry Allen seems to be the only Flash on Earth Prime connected to the Speed Force. Jay Garrick, reborn on Earth 2, is currently receiving his powers from the god Mercury and, as we know so far, does not use Speed Force energy. There is a version of Flash on Earth 3 named Johnny Quick who had powers similar to Earth Prime's Flash. He is now dead. With Barry Allen's superhuman speed being far greater, he likely needs to think much faster than Quicksilver. Without that, none of the other speedsters are strong enough to defeat Superman easily. Even Bart Allen, the weakest Flash, defeated Superboy Prime, who is much stronger than the regular Superman. In fact, Superboy Prime is strong enough to fight both an older Superman and a normal Superman at the same time for an extended period. Bart defeated him alone after he escaped from the Speed Force, ending with Superboy Prime warning Bart to stay away from him as he flew off. Wally West, the strongest Flash, once fought Eobard Thawne in a giant room in just a picosecond. That means it would take less than a picosecond for Wally to vibrate every organ in Superman's body, which would kill him organ by organ. If he didn't want to kill, he could knock Superman out as he did with Zoom, a White Martian, whose durability is comparable to that of a Kryptonian. At his best, Superman can only fight in nanoseconds, not even a full nanosecond. Superman claimed he could measure time between nanoseconds and Faust, but he has never demonstrated this. In reality, Superman has to struggle to keep up with Flash's normal thought speed. I think the fastest way for Flash to win is to knock out Superman until he's out cold. Superman is not even close to being that fast. However, he still moves pretty quickly. Besides, he can breathe out ice, shoot lasers from his eyes, has steel skin, and is generally indestructible. So as long as Flash can outrun Superman, which he can do, as long as he has enough energy, he's fine. But as soon as he tries to actually fight, he'll get beaten up badly. What do you think? Let us know your thoughts. Thank you for watching. That's it for today's video, and we'll stop here. Thank you.